Live today. Full breakdown of Princess Leonor new speech for Spain. Spain has heard Princess Leonor speak before. Calm, disciplined, carefully measured, every word balanced between tradition and expectation. But what happened today didn't sound like rehearsal. Because this time, Leonor didn't speak like a future queen preparing for the role. She spoke like someone already carrying it, and that subtle difference is what stopped the country in its tracks. Everyone expected reassurance. What they heard was responsibility spoken out loud. And that is why today's speech matters more than any before it. From the very opening moment, the tone was different. Leonor did not rush. She did not soften the room with formality. She stood still, allowed silence to settle, and then acknowledged something Spain rarely hears from its monarchy: uncertainty. That single choice set off the first ripple. For years, royal speeches in Spain have centered on continuity, unity, and stability. Necessary words, trusted words, but also familiar ones. Today, Leonor leaned into continuity, then immediately complicated it. She spoke about Spain as a country in motion, not a finished story. That was the first surprise. By doing so, she quietly answered a question many had been asking without voicing it. Does the future queen understand the Spain of today, not the Spain of protocol? Her answer wasn't emotional language. It was structure. She began by referencing the generations before her, not as distant figures, but as foundations that were tested by crisis. She acknowledged her father's era, marked by pressure, reform, and restraint, but did not frame it as a template to repeat blindly. Instead, she placed herself at a crossroads. That sentence alone shifted the weight of the speech. Because crossroads imply choice, and choice implies accountability. As she moved forward, the pacing changed. This wasn't a ceremonial address. It flowed like a conversation Spain hadn't been invited into before. She spoke of service not as obligation, but as a relationship. A monarchy that reflects, not dictates. A crown that listens before it speaks. Some watched with pride, others with unease. That tension was real, and she did not hide from it. Leonor addressed young Spaniards directly, not with slogans, but with acknowledgement. She spoke of uncertainty around work, belonging, and trust in institutions. She didn't promise instant answers. She promised presence. That distinction matters. Promises can be broken. Presence must be sustained. At that moment, the speech moved from symbolic to personal. Observers noted how often her eyes lifted from the text. This wasn't recitation. It was conviction. You could feel the influence of her recent experiences: military training, international exposure, public responsibility arriving sooner than comfort would allow. She spoke about Spain's diversity not as a challenge to unity, but as its proof. That sentence landed hard. For decades, that idea has been debated, defended, resisted. From Leonor, it felt neither defensive nor provocative. It felt settled. And that raised a new question: was this speech carefully crafted to calm Spain, or challenge it? As the speech progressed, Leonor addressed the monarchy itself. That was the most delicate section. She referred to the weight of continuity, but immediately followed with the duty to adapt. Pauses matter in speeches like this. And she paused there, long enough. It was a recognition that titles alone no longer generate trust. Behavior does. She did not mention critics explicitly. She didn't need to. Her tone acknowledged skepticism as part of modern citizenship, not disloyalty. That framing subtly reframed opposition as engagement. That's when analysts realized this wasn't just a speech. It was repositioning. Then came the most unexpected emotional note. She referenced her family, briefly, carefully, but not as symbols. As people. As guides who taught her that public life does not erase private responsibility. For those watching Queen Letizia, the moment resonated. The Queen's expression did not shift toward protocol. It softened toward memory. That alone became an image Spain will remember. Leonor spoke of learning strength from discipline and empathy from closeness. A balance that mirrors her parents' contrasting public roles. That connection humanized the speech without weakening it. As she approached the closing section, her language turned forward-facing. Not distant futurism, but near responsibility. She spoke of Spain not in decades, but in days, choices, daily acts of trust rebuilt slowly. This was not the language of postponement. It was the language of readiness. And perhaps the most defining line came near the end, when she said leadership must earn its future every day. Not inherit it, earn it. That single idea reframes the monarchy itself. The applause that followed was not immediate. It built, gradually, thoughtfully. That's important. It wasn't reflexive. It was processing. After the speech ended, conversations ignited everywhere. Some praised her clarity, others questioned her openness, but very few dismissed her. That alone signals impact, because indifference is the real enemy of monarchy. What Leonor achieved today was not consensus. It was engagement. Spain didn't hear a princess rehearsing power. It heard a future queen acknowledging limits, and committing anyway. This speech will be dissected for years. But its power lies in something quieter. It made people ask not whether Leonor is ready, but whether Spain is ready to meet her where she stands. Not above the people, not away from them, but directly in front of them, accountable, present, and aware that the crown no longer floats above reality. It rests inside it. That is why today's speech matters. Not because it was perfect, but because it was real.